Hi, I'm Dr. Beverly Van Sitters, and I'm the professor teaching English 99 online. Welcome to this class. I don't know if you've ever taken an online class before, but one of the things to remember is to really keep yourself organized and check your email quite frequently. Now, this particular class, I'm pretty prolific writing emails to the whole class. You will get tired of me being your pen pal, but because it's reading and writing, it's really important that I really get to communicate with you what's required in the course. Sometimes you may have questions, so we have a discussion board set up where you can post questions in what's called the student lounge. Please take advantage of that. And if I don't get to your question, probably another student might be able to know the answer and respond to your question. And also look back at questions that have been asked before, because you might think that your question is brand new when indeed it was already answered by someone previously. So look at that information. The calendar is going to be your new best friend. This calendar has taken a lot of thought and organization getting the information out for due dates. Many of you are busy. You may be a parent. You may have a couple of kids. You're going to school. You're working. So I've given you all of the deadlines so that you can work around those deadlines ahead of time. I value and respect your time, and therefore, because I teach other classes, it's also important to value mine as well. But I want to make sure that you know ahead of time when things are due so that you can make those adjustments. Another thing I want to talk to you about is a little bit about this course. The first half of the course is considered remedial or a review of any information you would have had from kindergarten through 12th grade. We cover areas, for example, word usage, knowing which words to use and how to spell them and so on. We don't get into a lot of spelling, mostly in using words. For example, here's one word that my students tend to misspell an awful lot. It's the word where. And notice it does have an H in it. Now, a lot of my students, those who haven't caught their little problem with it, spell this word as where, when indeed the word is were. Now, a spell check is not going to pick this up. So we want to make sure that our brains and our eyes are connected. Sometimes a person may read this as where, but then it's marked wrong later when they're actually writing the paper. One of the best suggestions I have in dealing with any papers that you might be handing in is to read them out loud. Read them out loud, hear how they sound, hear how the flow is going. And then give them to someone else to read and have them read it out loud, and you listen and think, is that really what I meant? You can also have yourself read it out loud and see what the communication is like for the other person. One of the things about college writing is you're writing for an audience. It may be a professor, it may be a group of people. You might not know who that audience or the makeup of the audience might be. So this will be really important to follow through. So the first half, we're going to deal with basic reading skills and basic writing skills. And then the second half of the course is going to deal with college level writing. So for example, if you have an essay question, and let me make up one here. If I was in a history class and I've been asked to explain the Monroe Doctrine, the question might be something like this. Give 3 points that are important in the efficiency of the Monroe Doctrine. We don't just write an answer to that. We would have to think about it, outline how we might approach it, and then we restate the question. The 3 points that I feel are important as far as the efficiency of the Monroe Doctrine are dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum. Then you start going in and explaining what each of those points might be. We usually say 3. 3 is kind of a magic number when we're trying to explain something. And then we back it up with some. And throughout the course, I'm really going to try to throw in a couple of little mini movies, or videos that I hope will be instructional. So tune in. This is going to be really fun. And if you have any questions, please email me.